Partnerships are vital to our global outreach, enabling us to take the love and hope of Jesus Christ to those who need it most. Our Boots on the Ground Partnership Program physically ministers to those in desperate situations all over the world. The Israel Partnership furthers Kim's legacy of outreach to Israel and Jewish people worldwide. We invite you to become a partner today. Join us today and be part of a community that inspires hope, brings restoration to life, and often healing from the past. Together, we can make a difference, and we thank you for your ongoing support.
Shabbat Shalom and welcome to Israel Update. I have Doobie here with me. Doobs, thank you so much for being with me.
Shalom, shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Excuse my voice.
That's okay. So for everybody out there, we're obviously keeping you updated with everything that's going on. And this week has been another really bad week with what's happening with Israel. Just absolute tragedy. Doobs, why don't you talk to us about what happened with the soldiers that were lost in Gaza?
Yeah, I want to start by saying that, I hear more and more people getting in touch with me and asking direct questions and asking me about these issues and disasters of the war. And unfortunately, last week we had a very, very sad event where Israeli soldiers were working on exploding homes of terrorists that were interconnected between them with tunnels and, terror tunnels with a lot of explosives inside. And unfortunately, the Hamas terrorists were spying on them. They saw that the soldiers were there busy in installing all the explosives and everything just to blow up those buildings and these tunnels. And they launched a few rockets at the soldiers on the buildings while they were prepared. And everything was detonated and exploded at once. And 21 soldiers and dozens of others, 21 soldiers were killed and dozens of others were badly injured into the hospitals. This was a terrible, terrible week. And, everybody would be just jumping from one funeral to another. It really devastated the nation of Israel. But I want to remind everybody that this is a serious war against a serious enemy. It's not a game. And a lot of people out there are saying, how come Israel, one of the superpowers in the world, is not just taking them down and finishing this? It's not that easy. The situation is very complicated. It could be the same questions asked about America in Afghanistan, or America in Iraq, or America in Syria. Us, the democracies of the world and the westernized nations, we had a code of behavior. We have rules of engagement. We are committed to the international law, and we wage war in a very legal way, and trying as much as possible to avoid from anyone who's not involved to be hurt or injured. And we are fighting a war with gloves on our hands and surgically. Those buildings could be taken down from the air with one or two bombs, just a small, quick airstrike, and all could go away. But there were civilians in the nearby areas. There were people that are not probably engaged in the war that would be injured. So the army took measurements of just the right quantity and the right amount to hit only those buildings and these homes of the people that were involved, and to spare those who are probably involved in some way, but they didn't hold arms and, guns in their arms. And that's the reason why it's taken so long. And that's the reason why it's not really a fair war, although we are a strong power and we have the ability to literally flatten Gaza and kill everybody there, just like America had this ability in every war that they waged, all the last wars of the 20th century, America could have done the same. But that's not how we fight our wars. And that's what the enemies of Israel and the enemies of America are taking advantage of, is the fact that we fight a war that is a righteous war with tools that are coming only to hit those who are fighting directly against us, while the enemy doesn't care. He hides among civilians and shoots first at civilians.
You know, Doobs, you're right. It is such a tragedy. And I know so many people have asked me the same question. If Israel's so powerful, what's happening? And you said it. You said it on last week's Israel Update show. You said if Israel was actually genocidal, the war would have ended on October 8th. But because Israel cares more about the citizens and civilians in the Gaza Strip than the Gazans do, than the Palestinians do, they are using, everybody keeps saying respond, adequately. But what Israel is doing in an attempt to save civilians that actually want to take Israel out of the picture completely, in an attempt to protect those people, Israeli soldiers died. And that just goes to show, and it sort of shows us and speaks to the way Israel functions, who they are as a people, who they are as a nation. And they do have the force to take it out. But because there's 136 hostages still in Gaza, because they're not trying to actually just kill everybody, they're having to go about this in a slow manner. And it can be frustrating from the outside to watch, but imagine how much more frustrating and infuriating for the people who are directly involved. I think about these soldiers.
In the war, when you give an order to a soldier, the soldier tries very best to do and fulfill the orders. And yes, you mentioned the hostages and the people that are captured in Gaza. And you have to realize that in the beginning few days of the war, nobody really knew how many people were kidnapped. Nobody really knew what was going on there. The routine is just go after them and then just kill anybody who you see with any guns or anything like that. And they could have done it right in the first few days, like we said. But Israel is very different about this. And, a lot of people today, when it unfolds and the whole situation is unfolding, and there's a lot of, I would say resentment in some parts of the public against the way the government is conducting the negotiations about the kidnapped people, while the Hamas is really trying to put Israel down and to stop the war and take advantage of everything and not really real quick release any of our hostages, and for us to give them all the aid needed and ceasefire and you name it. There's a lot of Israelis right now that are asking the same question in a tough moral question. Is it right to spare the lives of 100, as hard as it sounds, to spare the lives of 136 Israeli hostages and jeopardize and risk the lives of hundreds of thousands of others, while giving the power and the force to the Hezbollah, to the Hamas to restore themselves? If Israel is going to stop the war right now, all they need is to make a huge effort in one point of Israel, kidnap 2, 3, 10 more, because Israel would pay the same price for any amount of people. They'll pay everything and just finish with us slowly like that. So that's a huge question. And the question is, why are we caring so much for people in this world that they call them Palestinian refugees? So let me enlighten you for a second. And I'm sorry again about my voice, but I'm sure that you can hear me.
Yes.
Let me enlighten you for 1 second. These are not Palestinian refugees. There's no Palestinian nation. There never was. But even if there was, these people has been taken by Israel in 1967. During 1967, the people of Gaza, they were in the hands of the Egyptians. So if you want to say anything, these are Egyptian refugees that Egypt is refraining from caring about them or taking them back. These are in the West Bank, Jordanian refugees. The land was belonging to a sovereign nation called Jordan. The Jordan is preventing themselves from taking them back or asking for this land or these people back. Literally, when Egypt and Jordan signed a peace treaty with Israel, the first condition was, don't talk with us about those territories. We don't care about these people. They gave us a hard time. They're going to give you a hard time. They were our punishment. They're going to be your punishment. They don't want them. They don't want them back. And Israel is the only people in this world who's trying to preserve them, to prevent them from dying, to help them, to give them jobs, to care for their health. When these are times of non-war, because there was never times of peace, when there's times of non-war, hundreds and dozens of thousands of these people are coming to get. We were together in Shalva when we have seen every Tuesday there is the Palestine Day, and people, and then we've been together in Save a Child's Heart, and every week these people are coming to be treated
medically
in Israel, medically. So I don't understand. We care more about them than their own leadership, and the world is blaming us. Now, as we speak, in few hours, the Hague Tribunal is going to give a resolution about these stupid allegations by South Africa against Israel. They might even choose and decide to put all kinds of sanctions over Israel. Listen, we are the victim here. Although sometimes the victim might be and look stronger. Anybody who's have eyes in the eye, eyes in the head, they would say that even though America is the strongest superpower in the world, 9/11, America was the victim.
The victim, yes.
And nobody sees us as the victim.
Yeah. Doobs, you're so correct. And, for everybody watching, we're recording this on a Wednesday. And so that's why Doobie's saying in a couple of hours, there's going to be this vote. But, just for everybody watching, please keep praying for the protection of Israel, for the protection of the citizens, and the protection of the soldiers. I don't understand how leaders of the West can listen to the death cult declaring their desire for genocide against the Jews and say, we don't believe you. You don't actually want to kill the Jews. They're proving over and over again with their actions that's exactly what they want to do. And so even though the situation does sometimes feel hopeless, I want to remind you that Israel has been here for thousands of years. The Jews have been here for thousands of years. And at times they were the only ones standing with nobody else around them, completely alone, but God still preserved his people. And so we trust in the God of Israel, and we stand with Israel. We stand with our Jewish brothers and sisters. And I'm just reminding you to carry them in your hearts. If that's what the show is for you, to give you an update, tell you what's happening, give you some perspective, the reminder is to pray. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray all who love her walls will prosper. That is what we've been told to do. Jerusalem, if I forget you, may my right hand forget its skill. Now is the time for us to really take note of that. I feel it deeply.
Oh, it's deep and terrible, Christie. And I feel I was sobbing and I was crying.
Me too.
Yesterday for hours as one news bulletin follows the other one. And you know how it comes on my phone. Please join us to the funeral of Corporal once and this, and please join us on the funeral of Sergeant this and this, and please join us in the funeral of Major this and this. And it kept on going the whole day. The announcements, the notifications are coming, and the story and the faces of these people. And they were reservists, so everyone was married and everyone has children in their homes. They destroyed families and homes of people. And that's the way of war. But I'm telling you, and I'm telling the rest of the people of Israel who are devastated, this is a war. It's a serious war. We will win, but there's a price and a toll to pay. And if God wanted us to go through that, God has the reason, as hard as it sounds. But sometimes the only way to put us on the right track is to forge us with fire. And I think, unfortunately, that's the history of the people of Israel, because we go from war to war. We live on our sword until the return of Messiah. And this would be the time, because there's never another way to appreciate and admire the shalom, the peace of God, the peace of Messiah. If you haven't experienced the darkness, you will not appreciate the light. If you never experienced being in a war, you will not understand the benefits of peace. And unfortunately, sometimes there's hard-necked people. We need the reminder from God. So I'm sorry about that. But God, whatever it is you want us to go through, we accept it. We accept it with faith and love. We trust in you. We know that all you want is the good for us and for the people who believes in you. And if sometimes it looks like we are in a trap, in a dire situation, there will be a breakthrough. There will be a breakthrough.
Sure. Powerful, Doobs. Yeah. Sure. Well, excuse me. Again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Doobie and I are here every week on a Friday. And I'm just encouraging you, please keep praying. Please don't stop. Please keep standing with us and standing with the people of Israel, because that is our call in these end times, to be those who were known as lovers of Israel. So, as you go out this week, pray. As you go out this week, speak. Remember, I keep saying that we have our voices and we can speak, and I've been doing that. I still have some friends who are nervous to walk around with me because I'm tattooed with, Stars of David and all these things. It's very evident that I'm a supporter of the Jews. And that is something I can say with honesty, that is something I'm prepared to die for. So hold Israel in your heart, the people whose lives have been taken so violently and viciously for no reason, and the families that have been impacted. Please pray for them. And we do appreciate everything that you do by supporting us and standing with us. And please also just continue praying for Doobie, for his family, for all our friends that are out there. And just know that we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week right here at israelupdate.org. God bless you.
I want just to give you guys one promise. The second that these terrorists will release our hostages and put down their guns, Israel will stop.
Yeah.
Will not fight anymore.
No.
And we'll look for every way, just like we did times and times before, to find a path for peace.
Yes.
I want you to remember the word shalom comes from the word shalem, whole and complete. It's one of the names of God, and it's carved in our hearts to seek peace. Bakesh shalom verotfeu. Ask for peace. Seek for it. It's how we are educated. So don't let anybody fool you. The minute the terrorists, the enemies of Israel, will put down their arms and their guns, we will extend our hand for peace, no matter what bad blood we have between the two peoples.
Yes, beautifully said, Doob. So thank you. Hold on to that, and we'll see you next week. God bless.
Shabbat shalom.
If you missed Real Life, Real Faith, which is out now, make sure you watch it. This week, Pastor Farr, Bree, and myself are speaking about trust issues. We're going to be having a conversation, looking at scripture, talking about ourselves, each other, our experiences. And I know that trust is something that every single Christian has to come to terms with. So whether you're somebody who's dealing with trust issues, or you're somebody who feels like you've really done a great job with settling that within yourself, wherever you find yourself on this playing field, I know that the show is for you. So make sure you go and watch it. You can click the links or go to real-faith.tv. Make sure you do not miss it. You can go and watch Real Life, Real Faith now.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
We here at the House of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. It's Beverly Hills Precious Metal.
Andrew, explain how that works.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. Usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you by phone call, and then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it. You will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable.